Hi, Kara Curry Parker here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Report. I've got two big things to talk to you about today. The first thing we're going to talk about is Mercury retrograde and how that might be impacting you right now as we speak. And then I want to talk to you about the actual energy that we're going to be playing with this week and how you can make the most of this week's energy to use this celestial adventure that we're having to create a story that really is a reflection of the truth of who you really are. So let's start first with talking about this Mercury retrograde cycle and the gifts that it's bringing us. Mercury went retrograde on Sunday. It will be staying in the retrograde position until December the 23rd, so just before Christmas. Whenever we have a Mercury retrograde cycle, it's an opportunity for us to go inward. It's a time of contemplation. It's a time ultimately of releasing and rewriting stories. And we're in more of a bigger overarching cycle right now that is supporting us in really asking ourselves, what is truth? What is the truth of our lives, the truth of our life story? How do we live more aligned with who we are? This is a big overarching theme that we're literally playing with for the next 2 years. So don't think that, oh, I'm going to just scoot through this Mercury retrograde and be done. You're going to be given opportunities to do this homework assignment in lots and lots of different ways over the next few years because it's crucial and it's vital. We are moving towards achieving two major goals as a collective. The first goal is we are waking up our fundamental creative power. There is a resurgence, and maybe you've even noticed it, a resurgence of going back to talking about basic ways of tapping into the quantum field and creating. You may have learned this under the umbrella of New Thought and Theosophy. This is the original emergence of these teachings came in the 1920s with the birth of quantum physics. You may know it as deliberate creation. You may know it as manifesting. If you've ever seen the movie The Secret, that's where you may have gotten your training wheels in the creative process that is inherently a part of your nature, your creative nature in the world. We are having renewed conversations about creativity because we are relearning or remembering the real nature of our creative selves. We are fundamentally creative, and the power of the truth of who we are is that we actually have the capacity to tap into creative solutions and creativity in a degree to which many of us don't even remember what it feels like to tap into in this lifetime. The story of who you are, the story of who you think you are, the belief systems you are holding, the traumas perhaps you've been carrying, your epigenetic conditioning, meaning things that have happened in your family legacy up to 14 generations before you were even born, are actually influencing your own perception of your own creativity. So you may be thinking you are less creative than you really are, and you may have bought into the earth dream, so to speak, that we are creative in one of two ways. Either we're artistically creative and we've had that stomped out of us in the school system, or number two, we can only create in a physical, tangible way following specific formulas that we've been trained to believe are true, such as if you want to make money, you have to work. If you want to make more money, you have to work harder. There may actually be, if we tap into our true creative capacity, other ways of generating large amounts of money that don't necessarily involve working hard. But we can't see those other creative possibilities. Sometimes we can't tap into the bigger solutions facing us, facing the challenges that we're experiencing on the planet right now, because we're locked into conditioned ways of thinking. We're locked into stories that we've told ourselves about what is possible, what is likely, what is reasonable, what is logical. And those old parameters are keeping us stuck in a lower grade of possibility, a lower grade of probability that we can manifest from a much more creative, much more liberated place that is truly an expression of the soul of who we are. We are powerful beyond what we understand. And the possibility for us to attract and to activate solutions to the challenges facing the world today, Those solutions are already out in the quantum field, just waiting for us to take bold steps towards them, just waiting for us to energetically align with them, and most importantly, just waiting for us to believe that there's a possibility that we could actually solve the challenges facing the world today. So number one, going back to where I started with all this, we are waking up to a deeper level of creativity. We are unleashing ourselves from old stories that have kept us less creative than we truly are. That's our first goal collectively. Our second goal is we are learning to become more sustainable. The world is asking of us, can we create with the world? Can we co-create on this planet in such a way that we create a planet that has sustainable resources and is sustainably peaceful? This is what we're heading towards. This is where we're going. This is what's written already in the celestial weather. For us to be able to get to that point, we have to each individually be sustainable. And that's not just about rewashing and reusing your plastic bags or taking your kitchen scraps and composting it. And I'm not saying don't do those things, but I'm saying it's more than just that. We have to be personally sustainable, meaning we have to take care of ourselves. We have to sustain ourselves. We have to take care of our energy. We have to stay vibrant and vital out in the world in a sustainable way. And the bottom line is this: you can't do that if you're living stories that are causing you to think that it's not okay for you to be who you really are. The root of these two key things that we are moving towards, fundamental creativity and sustainability, the root of these two things is self-love, which is what this Mercury retrograde cycle is bringing right smack in our face. And it's really ultimately what we're here to learn in multiple levels, in multiple layers over the next couple of years. Here's why self-love is so important. When you love yourself and you know who you are and you understand the fact that you are literally a once in a cosmic lifetime event. There has never been, nor will there ever be, anybody else like you on this planet. And you play such a vital role in the cosmic fabric of life that if you weren't there, the fabric would be different. When you understand that power that you have and the quantity of creative ability you have associated with that, and you love yourself, you are willing then to take the risk to go beyond the old stories you've been told about who you are and step into the real story of who you really are so that you can tap into greater probability of manifesting the seemingly impossible. When you love yourself, you're more creative. You're not hiding out. You're not overcompensating. You're not sticking yourself in a box where you don't fit. When you love yourself, you know that you are worthy of being seen in the world. Here's why being seen is so important to sustainability. I want you to think about this for a minute. I don't know if any of you have ever had this experience, but imagine you're going to a masquerade ball. You know when you go to the masquerade ball, you got to carry around that little mask on a stick, right? You're covering your face. At a certain point, you're either going to get thirsty and you're going to need that hand to get a drink and you're going to put the mask down, or at a certain point, your hand is going to get tired. It takes energy to carry around this little mask on a stick, even if it's not that heavy. You know, eventually you're burning energy holding that mask. Anytime you are not being true to who you are burning your energy. You are burning excess energy. You can burn excess energy. You can burn out lying on the couch, not being okay with who you really are. Because it takes energy to hold up a facade. It takes energy to pretend to be something that you're not. Anytime you say yes when you want to say no, anytime you say no when you want to say yes, you are burning your own energy ineffectively and inefficiently. And ultimately, you're not adding to your own sustainability. And then what happens is we overcompensate. And instead of being in the flow of abundance, we hoard and we grab because we're afraid we won't have enough or we won't have the energy to create it later when we really need it. If we are not sustainable, we fight other people or we think we're less than and we overcompensate and we burn ourselves out even more and more and more. You've got to love yourself if you want to be sustainable. If we want to create a world of sustainable peace and a world of sustainable resources, it has to start first with us individually becoming sustainable so we're not motivated by overcompensating drives. and we allow ourselves then to be in the full flow of potential and abundance, and ultimately manifest that through our own individual actions, and ultimately unify ourselves collectively to work towards creating sustainably as a species, as a group of light beings manifested into form, so that we can continue to grow and make this world the place that we all know in our heart of hearts we are potential. We know the potential of what it could be and how we could actually be living it and manifesting it out. I suspect that many of you have felt the whisperings of that coming world in your heart from the moment you got here. It's time. We're getting ready to create it. But to create it, you have to do the work. And the work is you got to let go of the stories that are keeping you from loving yourself, from seeing your vital place in the cosmic fabric. And you've got to let go of the stories that are keeping you from stepping into the full expression of your true creative power. And that's what's up for us on a global level. That's what's up for us for the next couple of years. This Mercury retrograde cycle is going to bring right smack dab in your face, either through your relationships, through your conversations you have with yourself, through all kinds of things, is going to bring into your awareness those places where you're holding on to stories that are holding you back. Those places where you're holding on to stories that are causing you to say to yourself, I can't do X, Y, and Z because fill in the blank. The I can't because story needs to fall away. You can because you exist. You can because you're worthy. You can because you're that frickin' powerful. And there is no I can't because, except for the I can't because we give ourselves. So we're being invited in this retrograde cycle to ask yourself, where am I telling myself that I can't because... So play with that for a little bit. This week, Sun is in the 5th hexagram position. Earth is in the 35. We are asking ourselves, what patterns and habits, what experiences, what places am I keeping myself stuck in ways that don't serve the bigger story of the truth of who I am? Do I need to refine my daily practices and habits? Do I need to add to my repertoire new practices and habits that bring me into a closer alignment with the natural order of life and my natural place in the cosmic plan? That's your adventure for this week, to really look at what's going on in my life on a daily basis. Have I cultivated a series of practices that are supporting me letting go of stories that don't serve me, that are supporting me evolving into my true creative power and my true creative capacity? Is my daily practice building in me the strength to stay in the coherence of my heart, in the alignment with the truth of who I am and my destiny? And if it's not, it's a great time for you to really be looking at, okay, how do I want to change my daily practice and habits? What do I need to do to become more practiced in the expression of my power, in the expression of my creativity, in the fulfillment of my sustainability, so that I can continue to go out into the world and serve the world by being a beacon of love, a beacon of the heart, and by being the person I am designed and created to be. As a big job, don't be surprised this week if you feel like everything's cranked up a little bit. It's an intense energy right now. You might feel like you're going to say stuff or do stuff or bite people's heads off and react. Do your best to keep taking breaths, to keep recentering back in that beautiful place where you are aligned with the truth of who you are. Be generously patient with others. Be compassionate. Know that we're all feeling the turns of the screws right now as we're being forced to really have some long dialogues in the mirror. And have a great week. It's not all bad. It's really powerful, and it's really beautiful, and it's really important. And ultimately, you're stepping closer and closer towards living a story, being in a story that is a true reflection of the heart of who you truly are.